From Rap City? Basement?
What up, man?
What's cracking?
I'm gonna tell you what's cracking. Welcome to Rap City, the Relapse. What's happening, world? It's your man Big Tigger back in the building, and welcome to BET's Rap City, the Relapse. This is a special event to celebrate the return, or better yet, the relapse of one of hip-hop's most gifted, daring, innovative, and even controversial mental patients, Mr. Marshall Mathers in the house, better known to millions of fans worldwide as Eminem. What's up, brother?
What's going on?
How you been?
Good, man.
Everything's good?
Everything's good.
Now, it's been a few years since your last solo album. How does it feel for you to be out and about, running around, doing your thing again?
Oh, man, I'm happy to be back.
Right.
You know? I got a new energy now, it feels like, you know, I'm back.
Do you feel the world has changed a lot since your last album was out?
I don't know if too much has changed. I feel like, you know, hip-hop it definitely feels like it's, if anything, it feels like it's in a little better place to me than it was, you know, a few years ago. It just seemed like for a couple of years, it felt like, you know, rap was getting a little bit stagnant. With T.I.'s new album, you know, the Paper Trail or whatever, like, you know, and artists like Lil Wayne and Kanye, you know, as they get better, and, you know, you got a lot of up-and-coming rappers, you know, like Cudi. Like, I like Cudi a lot. It feels like hip-hop is getting in a lot better place right now.
Okay, we had a world-changing election in November 2008. Did you vote?
Yes, I did.
Did you mind tell us who you voted for?
McCain.
Did you really?
No. Come on, man. No.
Now, you mentioned some of the upcoming artists like Kid Cudi. Who are some of the artists you think have been keeping hip-hop alive over the last few years?
Since I've been gone? Or, you know,
yeah, since you've been gone, pretty much.
Since I've been gone? I'm happy that Red and Meth are back. Busta's got a new album out. I like Royce the 5'9" a lot, too.
Okay.
He's one of those guys that should be bigger than he is. Okay. You know, but he's dope.
There's a new cat on the landscape that draws a lot of comparisons to you. How do you feel about Asher Roth?
I like Asher, too, man. I actually got his album a couple of weeks ago, and with the comparisons being made and everything, I feel like, I guess maybe in the beginning, at first, like, maybe some of his tonality, but if anything, I don't think he sounds like me at all. Okay. I like him. He's dope.
That's what's happening. Now, some rappers are moved by the fame and some by the money and the lifestyle. What moves Eminem?
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I have no idea what I'm doing, but...
What part of the whole game moves you? What is it?
I guess respect. You know what I mean? Just having fun with hip-hop and just, you know, kind of just, I guess I don't really feel like I'm in it to sell a ton of records anymore. You know what I mean? Not that I really ever was. I kind of, but especially now, it's kind of like I feel like I'm in a place where I don't really need to do it. I want to do it. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm having fun with it again, so. You
are Eminem, this mega superstar, can't walk outside, people go crazy. Take us back to the first moment you realized, damn, I'm really Eminem.
I think I was walking in a mall, and it turned from just a few autographs here and there, like when I was kind of an underground MC, to like the whole mall kind of followed me out, and I think that's when I kind of realized, like, uh-oh, you know, this is...
How did you handle it?
I ran. Ran from my car.
We know him as Eminem, Slim Shady, Marshall Mathers. He's more than a big name. He's a multi-platinum artist, a producer, a dad, an ex-husband, a threat to some, an icon to most. His story does not start at the top. Growing up in Detroit, Michigan on 8 Mile Road, Marshall had a long road ahead of him. During that time, M was still trying to find himself. But before long, M found his alter ego, Slim Shady. Eventually, one of his demo tapes landed in the hands of super producer Dr. Dre. At last, Eminem was on his way. After writing and recording tracks with Dre non-stop, Eminem released his major label debut, the Slim Shady LP. Eminem became a celebrity who caught fire. By the release of the Marshall Mathers LP in 2000, the burn had become an unstoppable blaze. The Marshall Mathers LP sold 1.76 million copies in its first week. 2 years later, M sold more than 1 million copies in the first week again, this time with The Eminem Show. Eminem had officially reached superstar status, winning Grammy Awards, launching his own Shady record label, bringing his underground rap D12 to the mainstream, and with Dr. Dre's help, 50 Cent. He even won an Academy Award for Best Original Song, Lose Yourself, from 8 Mile, which grossed over $51 million its opening weekend at the box office. The success continued with his fourth major release, Encore, and later, Curtain Call. A megastar was born.
I think I'd be safe in saying that most Eminem fans, if not every fan, can pretty much come to the assumption that Eminem is not the happiest person in the world.
Well, I mean, on the way here, I was actually pretty happy until you came out wearing the exact same outfit. I guess apparently...
It's not the same outfit.
Apparently you didn't get the memo.
Well, no, I didn't get that memo, but great minds think alike, brother.
You did get the memo. You were just like, you know what I mean? Nah, nah, as far as, I mean, over the years, man, you know, the last few years, I definitely, I think I kind of sunk into a pretty dark place. You know what I mean? And, like, as with the Encore album, it feels like, when I go back and listen to that record, it kind of feels like, I mean, even though I feel like it was a good record for me, I don't feel like it certainly doesn't feel like it was my best record. But when I go back and listen to it, there's a little bit of self-loathing going on there. You know what I mean? And you know, just the content and everything, like, and when I go back and listen to it, it's kind of like it feels like it puts me back in that place where I was just like really uncomfortable with my fame. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm blessed to be where I'm at.
So if the Encore was a past perception of yourself, how do you perceive yourself now?
Well, I feel like I'm good now. I feel like I'm definitely a lot happier than I was. You know what I mean? I had a pretty serious boxing match with some prescription drugs. You know what I mean? And I ended up winning that. You know, so far so good. But you know, so you know, I think overall I'm a much calmer, happier person.
Okay. What's your relationship like with your mom now? You got a new song about her on your new album.
It's kind of the same way it was. Like, I guess estranged.
Do you know if she's heard your new song?
Nah, I don't, but I'm sure by now she probably has.
Right.
You know, which is sad, but, you know, it is what it is.
That's what's up. Listen, when we get back, we'll get deeper into Eminem's mind and his new album, The Relapse. You cannot miss the rest of BET's Rap City, The Relapse.
This is Jamie Foxx with a very, very serious announcement. Out of all the things that we've gone through these past years.
Welcome back to BET's Rap City, The Relapse, featuring the one and only Eminem. That was a snippet of a song called Beautiful from Eminem's new album, The Relapse, which is in stores right now. What do you remember about putting that record together?
It's one of them records, man, where when I listen to it, it's the only song from the batch of records that I had, you know, when I was like really going through a dark place. And, you know, there was just something that I felt like, you know, was maybe special about that song. It's a sad song, but I feel like it could help motivate people too.
Every song on the album but Beautiful was produced by Dr. Dre. What was it like working with Dre this time around compared to the previous time?
He came to Detroit for like 6 months.
Wow.
So we actually got to feed off each other, listen to, give each other feedback. I mean, it was perfect too, because plus I didn't have to worry about making the beats. You know what I mean? I could just sit with the pen and just...
Right. Now, rumor has it y'all recorded close to 2 full albums.
Almost 3, and we're gonna narrow it down. We've narrowed it down to 2 albums. But that's, you know, hence Relapse 2.
So if it comes to a point where you absolutely want something in the song and he absolutely doesn't want something in the song, who wins?
Me. Nah. It depends, man. You know, we hear each other out. You know what I mean? Like, we listen, and if each of us has a legitimate argument, then we usually pretty much always come to a happy medium.
It was easy to tell in his music. Eminem was always struggling with something. At first, it was his misfortune. Then, it became his newfound fame. He had a rotating cast of problems, from legal issues with his own mom to insecurity issues with his estranged wife. The tabloids couldn't get enough of Eminem. Even though he accumulated all types of legal issues, M stayed on his grind and became one of the biggest icons in popular culture. But fame did have a price. Just as easy as it was for M to find trouble, prescription drugs began to find him more and more. According to M's own recollection, it went from him accepting drugs to him purchasing them, to him not being able to do a show without them, to him not being able to wake up or even sleep without them. On April 11th, 2006, Eminem received the worst news of his life. His best friend Proof was killed in a nightclub. Although details were sketchy, Proof's death sent shockwaves through M's camp, and it began to push M himself deeper into his state of darkness. By 2007, Eminem had been in and out of rehab, and even worse, in and out of the hospital. After one last overdose that nearly took his life for good, it was time for Marshall to choose life or death. Today, the only relapse you can expect M to have is with his music.
At what point did you first realize you were way down the wrong road?
From the moment I took my first Vicodin.
Really?
Nah. Nah, man, I experimented, you know, and took a lot of things for recreation, you know, and they were fun at first, and I don't know if I actually have a moment in time where I'm like, where I actually remember like an instant where it was like, this isn't fun anymore.
Right.
It kind of crept up on me. It was already pretty bad, you know, rehab and like right before rehab and after rehab, I relapsed, and then, you know, obviously Proof's passing had a lot to do with me kind of just, you know, going way overboard. Like that's when it really kind of spiraled out of control.
Take us back, if you can, to the moment you first heard about it.
I don't know. I just kind of just shut down. It just put me in a really bad place, you know.
How do you think your life and your music would be different if Proof was here today?
Right now, my music would probably be the exact same, because I think that this is what Proof always wanted, you know, was me to go crazy again.
In your life?
Well, my life would be different because I'd still have him.
Right. What is the future of D12?
Me and the guys, man, we got a bond that, you know, it's special. So it's like, I mean, as far as like the future of D12, we're gonna be back in the studio soon.
Member in the building?
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Porter.
Everything good?
Everything is beautiful.
What's crackling, fool?
Reverse the hate.
Now, what's it like, you know, being shouldered with that burden?
It's not a burden. It's like a responsibility that I have to, I owe it to Proof, I owe it to M. Like, you know, when M asks me to do anything, it's like, I go back to the days when I didn't have a place to stay.
Right.
And it's like, it's about that.
Now, there was a moment where you, Dre, and 50 Cent were viewed as, highly regarded as the most powerful dynasty in music. Do you feel that any of that has changed?
Not at all. No, I don't know. We still have our bases, our fan bases, and you know.
Right. Still making it happen?
Still making it happen.
Well,
Can we get a close up on these shoes?
I don't know how this happens, but it happens. Let's hope this next guest doesn't have on the same shoes.
Exactly.
Let's see what 50 has to say about Fifth.
It is. Fifth, what are you wearing?
Where you go? All right, here. All right, thank you. Look. So
Fifth got the memo. So.
We're 50's backup dancers.
Traditional hip-hop shoe.
Okay.
And we're gonna be
We're your backup dancers.
This'll work.
What? What up, Fifth?
Everything good, man.
All right, now, Em's been through a lot over the past few years. Did he ever give you any window or access to confide in you about some of these things?
Well, yeah, he talked to me. I don't think people even understand the dynamics of our actual relationship. Like, I look at him like I put him right next to my grandmother.
Wow.
You know, like with people who took care of me when I couldn't take care of myself. You know, he provided the opportunity for me. You know, and
so in other words, I'm freaking awesome. You know what I mean?
completely that.
Now Eminem's back and he's feeling like, you know, Eminem again, and he's 100%. Where do you see him going? What is he going to do?
Well, you know, absolutely dominate. You know, I always tell him he's the best rapper. You know what I'm saying? And then I listen to his music, and the choices. He'll say things that you're absolutely not supposed to be okay with. He'll get raped on the record. And it's cool. Like, it sounds like the coolest thing still.
It's okay. I'm telling you it's okay. It's fine. There's nothing
Like,
wrong.
he'll say something, and I'll be like, yo, why did that sound good? Why did that sound good? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what makes me feel like that's ill. Like, the irony in you being able to put yourself in these different situations and still make it sound good. Like, I want to hear that again. Like, you want to hear someone got raped again.
And then you feel horrible, like, for, like, the whole album, I think, is just full of things that you just feel horrible for laughing at after you laugh at it, you know? But that's what it's kind of what it's supposed to do.
When we come back, we'll give all you Eminem fans the ultimate fix. There's a rumor that he's going back in the booth. Keep it locked right here for the rest of Rap City.
You don't want to
the
miss
Relapse. Amen.
What's poppin'? I'm Samson with the BET News Brief.